for your work. Here you go.
Okay, it's recorded.
All right.
So, in your own words, how would you describe coronavirus?
The coronavirus is
My name's Julian Rankin, 51 years of age.
My name's Diane Bessemetic. I am a doctor, and my main sort of medicine that I do is clinical research.
I'm Alec. I'm 19 years old and I'm studying politics at Strathclyde University.
So my name's Jackie Hunt and I'm a lead nurse for a community trust.
I think it was very early October I got it, so I isolated for 2 weeks. That was right after I started staying at my university accommodation, so obviously I got it from one of my flatmates. Being in such a different place, you know, I went nearly 500 odd miles north to go stay in my university accommodation. I couldn't attend university because everything was closed. Now I was stuck inside ill. Just that lack of interaction, I think, is absolutely, it's just made the experience really rough. I mean, there's been this really interesting impact on public health and also on misinformation on the internet.
I'm in a very clinically vulnerable group. I probably slightly dismissed it initially till it started to gather pace. At quite a young age, I was diagnosed with something called autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease. And it's because of that and the fact that I'm immunosuppressed that I'm now in that vulnerable group. On a social front, obviously, you know, not going out to meet up with friends, you know, and it's the same for everybody. And with Cameron as well, suffers from a mental illness. It's meant that he hasn't had the opportunities to get out with me and socialize with my group of friends, which is really his sort of release from being at home all the time. So it's affected everybody.
So we have patients in the home, we look after them there. Also, we look after them in hospital and we look after them in clinics, that type of thing. And some of them might have mental health issues. Some of them might have physical health issues. Most of them are adults, some of them are children. And my role is infection prevention.
I have worked on the Oxford vaccine, and loads and loads of people worked on the Oxford vaccine. So I'm not like one of the scientists that invented it or anything like that. But what they needed to do was get it tested very, very quickly. My part was being one of the doctors that recruited people to the study and screened them to make sure that they were okay to take part in the study, that they were eligible. And then I was there when they were given the vaccines to make sure that they were safe, and in case anything went wrong. And then doing follow-up visits, so making sure that, you know, documented any side effects or anybody who was positive, who had symptoms, to check whether they were positive or not.
The main role is really about advice. And it involves perhaps training about protective clothing or policy writing or managing outbreaks, which we did do before Corona, but of course, with a pandemic, it's become really, really important to have good infection control. Well, for me personally, it feels like a war because every day I'm trying to fight it to keep the patients and the staff safe. So for me, this feels like a real battle. And it is the enemy.
When we first heard about it, I guess I was interested because I work in research and in infectious diseases. So I was sort of fascinated from an infectious diseases point of view. I think I've been quite lucky in that I've got a big household full of people. So myself and my husband and 3 children, but also a lodger. I think I'd have found it a lot harder if I was on my own. I don't think I'd have coped very well at all.
I think humans need to be more aware of the damage that they can cause and they are causing. And I think coronavirus has helped with that. You know, turns out I'm a lot more extroverted than I thought I once was. But, you know, people need people. But I don't know if people would actually notice that and just how important other people are in their lives without something like this. So in that sense, I'm always glad that we've had this kind of moment of, like a moment to breathe and understand.
My main problem is it seems very full on, so I don't have a lot of personal time. So when I do have personal time, I like to perhaps go out into the country and have a walk with the family out in the country. And even when I'm working, I might get up at sort of 6:30, 6:45 just to take a quarter of an hour walk outside, just a bit of peace and quiet, because it's just really nice to reset and think about the day and how you're going to handle different situations. Quite a lot of positive impacts. although it does seem quite alien to say that, because obviously I've seen a lot of people suffer the severe consequences of corona. But as far as new ways of working, certainly within the NHS, we have radically changed. But just even rationalising what's important to do, what's a must do, this has really focused our minds. And I think you'll see us working quite differently after this. So it's really tough at the moment in the NHS. Everybody's really trying so hard, and there's a real sense of camaraderie, and I have felt that at times it's been really scary, really exhausting, but the people that I'm working with have just been amazing. My team have been amazing. People generally have just been really lovely. So that supportive part, I just hope we don't lose that sense of community and supportive part when this horrible time is over.
Hello, we're finished, you can come in.
Okay.
We're just talking now.
We take the record button off.